Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning.
Oh, good. Good morning. How are you, Alok? Is that the correct way to pronounce your name?
Yeah, that's my name. Yeah, I'm pretty good. Thank you for asking. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing really well, thank you. How was your weekend?
It was really awesome. Yeah, I enjoyed. We did a lot of party. We
Yeah,
celebrated a festival. It was Diwali. So actually, I
yeah. Oh,
really enjoyed the
perfect.
weekend.
Oh, perfect. That sounds like a good weekend to have. Lots of things to do.
Yeah.
So what's your plan for today's class? Would you like
Uh,
to read an article with me?
no, just I want to have a casual conversation with you.
Okay, perfect. So tell me a bit more about what your goals are for learning English.
Actually, I am a teacher myself. Actually, I teach students how to speak English. So I help
Yeah,
them. I want to know how did you improve your English? I know it is your native language, but I want to know
yeah.
how did you improve your English to that level?
Okay, so you want to focus on improving your English.
No, I just want to know how did you improve your English to that level? I know it is your native language, but I want to know little bit of your experience, your teaching style. How do you teach your students like that?
Do you mean how my students improve their
No,
English?
I want to know that how do you teach your student? I want to know the process.
Okay. I think the first thing to do is I ask the student what they want to learn in that class, so what their plan is, if it's a new student. Um, and then we focus on, for example, pronunciation, maybe learning some new vocabulary, um, and then having a discussion. So Engu is a good option, or we do one of the Cambly lessons. So I think that's a good way to have a structured lesson. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I am satisfied. Do you enjoy teaching your student, or sometimes do you feel boring? What do you do that time?
No, I think it's quite enjoyable teaching students. What about you? Do you think it's
Actually,
enjoyable teaching students?
I teach 8 to 10 hours a day, so I enjoy. That's
Yeah.
why I can do it. And one thing I want to
Wow.
know, there are some lights in your background. Did you celebrate any festival?
No, I didn't. These are just part of the decoration.
Do you like to read? There are a lot of books.
Yeah, I do like to read. I haven't read all of these books, but I enjoy reading. Do you enjoy reading?
I actually, if you talk about me, I enjoy reading novels related to romance, so I like to do
Right.
like that.
Oh,
Yeah, there is
nice.
a book, this is a book here. So I
Oh,
like
what
to
is
read.
that? Is it a classic or a
Uh,
modern book?
it is a modern book, and I think you are going
Okay.
to enjoy it. One thing I want to say
Yeah,
that reading is a good thing. It helps us to understand the
definitely.
writers, and I like to read Indian writers. Sometimes I read. What is your favorite
Yeah.
book?
Oh, wow. That's a hard question. I think it's hard to choose just one favorite book, but I like, for example, Charles Dickens' work. Have you ever read anything by Charles Dickens?
I have never heard the name. First time.
Charles Dickens. So he wrote a lot of Victorian famous books, novels.
Yes.
Do you know any English writers that are
Only
classic?
one thing I think. No, Ruskin Bond.
Sorry?
Ruskin Bond, I think so.
Ruskin Bond. Okay, I don't think I've heard of that actually. Could you tell me a bit more about that?
Actually, there is a book like Angry River and Blue Umbrella, and there are other books like a
Yeah,
Journey by Train. So I have
right.
read 1 to 2 books. I really
Yeah,
liked it. I want to say you that I like to read Indian authors because I don't know. I can feel them.
that's interesting actually. Do the Indian writers that you know, do they write in Hindi or other local language of India? Because
Yeah.
you have a lot of languages in India, isn't it? Not just Hindi.
Okay. Don't say about that. There are like a lot of language in India that it will take you
Yeah.
7 to 5 life to understand it. But I
Wow.
know three language I know. English I can speak and Hindi I know, and Odia is my native language. So there are a lot of books in Hindi or Odia. But if I talk about me, I like to read the books in Odia, and most of the
Yeah.
time I like to read in English because I love to read.
Oh, wow.
And I want to talk about a writer. Do you know Chetan Bhagat? He's the famous writer.
To be honest, I don't think I've heard of him because in school in England, we mostly focus on like English writers or writers from America, but mostly writers that write in English from the English speaking countries. So unfortunately, I don't know very many Indian writers.
It's okay. Like,
Yeah,
it's okay. Totally fine. But the
but maybe
most
you can
important,
tell me.
yeah,
Maybe
I
you
can
can tell
tell you.
me or
Like
recommend me some.
one book, you have to, you should read it. I want to say
Yeah,
you, one book is the One Indian Girl. You'll search, you can find it on Amazon. One Indian Girl. The book name is One Indian Girl.
one Indian girl.
Yes.
Okay, and is this what's this plot about?
It is about a girl, like he was looking ugly when when he studied in school, and he was like you can say the girl liked to study a lot. After
Mm,
some year, he got a job in, I think, other country in banking sector. Then he started earning a lot of money. He started having an affair with a boy. It is little bit romance like that.
okay, interesting. What do you think about books that get turned into films? What do you think about that?
There is a movie, I think there was a book, and there is also a movie related to that movie. I think Half Girlfriend, that is also written by an Indian writer, author, and the movie was really interesting. If you talk about Harry Potter, if you talk about the books and the movie,
Mm.
uh, in the book, if you read the book, you can feel it. In the movie, you will miss some parts. In the books, everything
Oh,
is there.
definitely. Definitely. I think that's a big problem when they make films, they don't have time to do everything from the
Yeah,
book, isn't it?
they only take the interesting part.
Yeah, they only take the interesting part, but it's like, um, the Harry Potter books sometimes are so thick, and then the film
Yeah.
is 2 hours. Have
If you
you read
don't like
all
to
of
read
them?
a book, if you don't like to read a book and you are first time looking at the Harry Potter book, you are not
Yeah,
going to read.
I know. I think it's tough for people that don't read to read a really big book immediately. Have you read all the series, the
Uh,
entire series?
one thing I want to say, the first series, the Soccer Stone, like that was
Oh, the
really interesting.
Sorcerer's Stone, yeah.
Yeah, that was really interesting. And I had a doubt about the movie. I thought,
Right.
like uh, I thought Hermione is going to marry someone else. In the end, he married to another boy. That was like I had a little doubt about that, whom Hermione is
Yeah.
going to marry. But what I
Yeah.
thought was totally different.
Yeah, I think a lot of people thought Hermione was going to marry Harry
Yeah, yeah.
and not Ron first. I was thinking about that until I think for the first one, book one and book two,
Uh,
everybody thought Hermione
have you
likes.
read the Half of Blood Princess?
The Half-Blood Prince. I have read it, but it
Yeah,
was a long time ago. I haven't
yeah.
read the books for a long time. Have
Uh,
you read it?
I did not read that. I have watched that part
Yeah.
on Hotstar or Netflix. I don't remember, but I have watched
Okay.
that part.
And did you enjoy it?
Actually, all the series I have enjoyed, but only I can remember the Sorcerer's Stone because it was really
Yeah.
interesting.
It is really interesting, definitely. Another thing I will tell you is that in the UK, the book is called The Philosopher's Stone, but they changed it.
It depends. It depends.
Yeah,
They also
yeah,
say Philosopher's Stone in the some movie. Yeah, I'm telling according to the movie book. Like there are a
yeah,
lot of things, lot of changes. If you read the book, I think you're going to enjoy. You will understand everything. They don't miss anything because it is all about the author. But when you watch the
yeah.
movie, you will only watch the interesting parts.
Definitely, that's so true. Actually, that you only watch the interesting parts. So did you watch the film recently?
It has been, I think, it has been a long time.
Okay, in the UK, every Christmas they always put at least one Harry Potter movie on. I don't know why, but they put the Home Alone movie and the Harry Potter movies on TV every Christmas. Is
What do
Christmas a
you?
big tradition in your country, would you say?
I know it's not a
Christmas.
big tradition because if you talk about religion, most of the people are Hindu here, so we don't celebrate Christmas. But as we accept all the religion, some people
Yeah.
celebrate Christmas.
Okay, so do you celebrate Christmas or take part
If you
in the
talk about
festivities?
one time I have celebrated because I had a friends, I have celebrated. Now we don't talk, but
Yeah.
one time I celebrated because in India. We accept all the religion. Actually, we are like friends.
And that's cool, actually. What part of India do you live in?
If I talk about eastern part of India, it is Odisha. If you search on Google, you can find it.
Sorry, how do you say it?
It is Odisha.
Odisha?
Yeah.
Odisha. I think that's the first time I've heard about it. How do you spell? Is it just Odisha, like a Odisha, the
Yes.
dance style, isn't
Like
it?
I'm telling you the letter O D
Yeah,
I S
yeah.
H A. Odisha.
Oh, Odisha. That's the first time I've heard of this. Ah, it's an Indian state, and it is Odisha is in formerly Orissa in on the Bay of Bengal.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
interesting.
the place is really beautiful. If you come one time, then you will think I'm gonna stay here.
Wow, it looks beautiful. I'll show you my screen. Can you see my
Yeah.
screen?
Yes, I do.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, so it's famous for the ancient temples. Have you visited any of these temples?
You're asking me. I am living here. I have visited a lot of times.
Why
Actually,
do you think it's important to preserve the history, like architecture?
if you don't know history, then you don't know anything. So I will talk
Mm.
about. Then you should know. First, you should read about the history. What happens? How what was the struggle? And history teaches you a lot of things. You should learn everything about history. And that picture you're showing me right now, I have watched that picture a lot of times.
Yeah, this one,
Like if you go, yeah, this one.
this picture.
Yes, it is the
Oh
past.
wow.
No, 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 not that picture. This picture. There are a lot of things.
Oh, I'm
Yes,
not
you're
changing
showing
it.
me. You're changing the picture
It's
from
just
that.
changing by
Yeah.
itself. Yeah.
Because I
So
think
what were you
that
going
is
to say?
I was going to say if you come on time the temple, you will feel the relaxation there, and there is peace. I think there is peace. There is no discrimination in the temple.
That's great, actually. So what do you like about living in your city? What do you
If I talk
really?
about nowadays what is happening, you are also living in a city area, so the pollution is increasing day by day. If you want to be healthy, you should live in an area there will be you should be nature friendly. If you want to live in a village area, you are going to be healthy. But the people because of job they want to live in a city area, but it is not good for your health. So that is the problem nowadays people are facing because India is changing. You know that
Sorry?
India is changing.
Yeah, I think everywhere is changing, to be honest. Um, are there any places in India that you would really recommend to foreigners to visit that you believe are very important for travel experiences?
I will suggest you Kashmir. You should go there or Kerala. These two states I will recommend you. And another is our state Odisha. If you want to come, you should come to Odisha, and you
Yeah.
should go to Kashmir or Kerala. You're going to enjoy these places.
Why would you recommend these places specifically?
Jammu Kashmir is a place of beauty, and you are
Mm,
also beautiful. The place, like you should go there to enjoy. And if you talk about Kerala, Kerala is full of nature.
amazing. Kerala is, I've heard the culture is quite different to the north. The
Yeah,
south and the north is very different.
the food is awesome, and you're going to enjoy. The place is it is full of nature. You can say.
Amazing. When was the last time you were there?
Uh, Actually, I have never visited there. My friend showed me everything there. I had a friend there, so
Yeah.
I know about that because also we have read in books about that, and you know,
Yeah,
like
definitely.
that.
That is interesting. Do you enjoy traveling and where would you like to travel in the future?
Actually, I like to travel, but because of some problem now I cannot do. In future, I'm going to
Mhm.
travel. It is one of my dream.
Perfect. Where are you going? What's on your bucket list for
I,
traveling?
First, I want to go Jammu Kashmir as I recommended you. When you
Yeah.
recommend someone, that means it should be part of you. So I
Yeah,
recommended you if you
definitely.
want to come to India, then you should go to Jammu Kashmir. That's when
Yeah.
I also want to go there.
Perfect. Yeah. So in Kashmir, I think it's famous for the mountains,
Yeah, and especially snow.
snow. Yeah. Do you like the cold weather or? The warmer weather, what do you prefer?
Actually, I'm living in an area. In summer, it gets 50 degree, around 50 degree the temperature. Like you'll feel sun is your
Wow.
best friend. But
Oh
I
my
like cold
goodness.
weather. It is winter here. In winter, the
Yeah.
temperature is 25 and 30.
Oh, that's actually, that means your winter is like British summertime.
Autumn, not
Wow.
autumn, like not
Wow.
autumn, like spring.
Yeah. Wow. Very interesting. What do you think about, for example, what do you think is the most important thing to you when you want to travel somewhere? So you said beautiful nature. Anything
Yes,
else? Is
most
it
important
museums?
thing before traveling to a place, you should know about your safety. That is, I think, first you
Yeah,
research about the area, like you will be safe there or not. After that, travel that place. It's not all about nature and beautiful places. It's all about your safety first.
definitely, definitely. So let's have a look here at the city. So let's look at the images. So if we look at the images, we can see that. So you have a lot of different districts there. So it's
Yeah,
quite a
30.
large state. Gosh, that's very
Yes, big
big, isn't
one.
it?
Okay, how many people are
Wow.
living
You've
in
some,
there in your country? How many people are living there in your country? The state you are
in
living
the
in?
UK?
Yeah.
Well, in London, where I'm from, there's about 10 million people. In
Oh,
the whole country, I'm not sure. Maybe there's 90 million. I don't know. Let me check.
then
But
I
London
want to.
is like 10 million. Okay, sorry, 67 million, not 80 million. Um, yeah, that's the full population of the people.
Six point
Um,
seven crore. Is it no?
no, 67 million. 67
No,
million.
I'm not talking about million. I'm talking about crore. Like 10 million is 1 crore. So it
Oh,
is
right, okay.
6.7 crore. If I talk about in Odisha, there are 40 million people are living.
Wow, interesting. That means there's a lot of people in your state, almost as the country. Wow. Yeah. Let's talk a bit more about. Let me just remove this quickly. Where this? Trying to stop sharing that. There we are. Let's talk a little bit more about reading again. So, how do you ever tell your students to form a reading habit? I mean, do you teach them English, or what do you teach your
What happens
students?
to when they first nowadays, if you talk about Odisha, they first want to learn how to speak, because our native
Yeah.
language Odia, they don't know how to speak. They know Hindi, they know every single person at least know two to three
Yeah.
languages, but they don't know
Oh
how to
wow.
speak in English. Like there are some people they know five language, six language. A lot of people there, but they face problem when they want to speak English. So I have decided I will teach them that they can learn how to speak English in a easy way. Because I was I was bad at English. I started by myself learning from YouTube. So now I'm a teacher teaching them how to speak.
Perfect. Do you set your students a lot of homework? And do you think homework is important?
Like first I talk to them like I am friend. They first they feel
Yeah.
comfortable. Then first I understand what is their problem. So then after understanding their problem, I make some homework for them. I practice by myself to them and they identify what is actually their problem. Then they improve in 2 to 3 months. Then speak. After 3 months, the guarantee they are going to speak.
Okay, perfect. And homework, do you set a lot of homework for your
Not
students?
lot up. Like it will only take you 30 minutes to complete.
Okay, and what about you when you were a student? Did you have a lot of homework to do as a
Actually,
student?
when I was a student, I was really bad at English. After nowadays, then I decided what is my problem. My problem that I cannot explain in English. I cannot understand how to read. So I started slowly developing every single thing. So
Yeah.
then like if I talk about me, I practice 7 to 8 hours in a day when I was a student.
Wow, that's a lot of hard work. You're a hard-working student.
Yeah, that's why I can speak now.
Oh, wow. What about your university? What did you study at university?
Actually, if you talk about me, I study literature, English literature.
Oh, did you? Very nice. What do you think about English TV shows or films? Do you like watching films and TV shows?
Actually, I like to watch animated movie. We talk about English movie. Like I can
Hmm.
tell you a lot of name. Like one is Luca, another is Pokoloko. Then there is another movie like Raya the Last Dragon. It was recently was released. A lot of
Mm,
movie I have watched, like Disney movie, like you know
yeah.
that Moana,
Yeah. Wow.
Moana
So you, I nice.
Frozen 1, Part 2.
So you really enjoy Disney movies?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Do you have Disney Plus in India? Is it a subscription
If you talk
service?
about me, I watch all the movie on Hotstar.
Okay, so it's like a streaming service.
Yeah, and also you know Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix as well. Would you say that streaming services are quite popular in India?
Yes, they're popular. Everyone has like I have personally I use every single person has
Yeah, and why do you think streaming services are so popular?
because
Nowadays,
look,
some people don't even have TV, they just watch on their laptop all the time. Why do you think
I
so?
I, I want to say you that suppose you want to watch a movie, not
Yeah,
all the movie are available on YouTube, so you have to download first.
true.
So you cannot download. So it is easy to first pay some money. It is not a huge amount. Pay some money. Then just we have Wi-Fi, so the speed is good. So just you can watch the movie on 4K.
Exactly. That's a good point actually. Do you think that the popularity of streaming services could change? For example, Netflix is number one right now. Do you think it could be
Yes.
replaced by something else in the future?
If you talk about if you talk about Netflix,
Yeah,
Netflix and there are a lot of competitor nowadays. Like everything is like there are a lot of high competition. In future,
yeah.
if any company or any organization bring some feature, it should be equal to Netflix. Then it going to be changed. But nowadays, Netflix on top, so it's not going to be changed. I think.
Interesting. A long time ago, there used to be Blockbuster. People used to go
Yes.
to there and rent DVDs and videos. So that's a big change now,
If I
isn't it?
talk about as a literature student, I want to share you something. We study actually. There are a lot of students they like to study Odia literature, but I have chosen English literature. So we
Hmm.
study every single thing when English started. What was the problem? What was the history? Everything single thing we learned. So I know a little bit about English theater and English movie. So because I have studied about that.
Okay, interesting. So did you enjoy studying about English theatre at that time?
Yes, I do. I really enjoyed, the story was really interesting. Really interesting.
Like Shakespeare?
Shakespeare, do you remember Sonnet 73? I don't know. Do you remember or not? That time of the year, thou mayst me in behold. There is a
No, I don't
poem.
remember that. We didn't focus so much on the sonnet. We focused more on his plays. I
Yeah,
think
because he was famous
Fairs.
for his plays
Yeah,
because but
yeah,
I have a doubt if you talk about critics, they say Shakespeare was not really educated. The critics, I don't know if I
yeah,
talk about critics, but because there are a lot of mismatch in his handwriting. But the plays are really interesting if I talk about Macbeth. Macbeth,
yeah,
do you know?
definitely.
Macbeth it was really interesting, but you'll see the dark side. There, like how a person can manipulate how a girl can manipulate a boy. A lot of things it was really
Uh,
something that Macbeth. But I really like the sonnet because they are short, only 14 lines. You're going to enjoy. There are a lot of meaning, as I mentioned you. That time
yeah,
of the year. For
yeah,
some days, I was teaching that poem to my student. So I feel that I can feel that. But plays are really famous, like I told you about Macbeth.
yeah, definitely. I mean, Macbeth is one of my favorite plays by him, and I think it's interesting because at that time he has, the witches in the play, and that time people really believed in witches, so it was
Yes, even
very,
do you know, first the witches will forecast that you are going to be the king. First you are going
Mhm.
to be a nobleman, and then next time, if I talk about nothing would have happened if there would not be Lady Macbeth.
Oh, interesting. So you think Lady Macbeth was the one that started the
Was the
plan?
reason because
Wow.
If I talk about Macbeth was loyal to King Duncan. You know that.
Yeah.
So why you will betray? Because everything happened because of the Lady Macbeth.
Interesting. And what about the witches? They were the ones that told him this information.
Do you know what actually, if I talk about, if you read any book which is really
Yeah.
enjoy telling you something, but they really enjoy when something bad will happen.
Yeah, exactly. Because then it brings some drama, isn't it, to the
Yeah.
story. Um, have you read any other plays by Shakespeare?
Actually, I only remember the thing I have enjoyed. That I can only remember Macbeth. I think it has been a long time.
Okay, interesting. There is actually a
And do you know
uh,
there is, I think, one. It is All for Love. I think it was not written by Shakespeare, but there was a play All for Love. It was really interesting also.
okay. I don't think that's written by Shakespeare, as far as
Yes,
I know.
yeah.
Do,
It was
do
not
you,
written by Shakespeare. Yeah,
but was it written during his time when he was alive?
during his time, yes. Not alive. I
Yeah.
think during the period it was written. I think.
Okay, interesting. So, what are your thoughts about Shakespeare and the critics that say he wasn't educated? What do you have to say to that?
Actually, the way if it, when I read about the poem, I can feel that only educated person can write. As a Shakespeare was a businessman, it is also possible that he could have hired some people to write for him. I don't know. So
Yeah,
if I will think as a critics, then I will say like this. I actually respect the writing of Shakespeare, so I
yeah.
am not a critics.
Okay, interesting. And yeah, I think Shakespeare. Why do you think Shakespeare is so famous around the world? You know, people all over, lots of people study him at different countries. Why do you think his work is still popular today?
Because if we talk about, and first I want to take an example of sonnet, because if you read that, you are going to learn what is the lesson of life, as you don't like to read sonnet. But as at that time of the I have mentioned, in there is a couplet in every sonnet. There is some quatrain and there is a couplet. In that couplet he mentioned, if you really want to enjoy your life, then learn how to love yourself. It was the main part of the couplet. In every sonnet there will be four line, three quatrains and one couplet. That one couplet really is going to motivate you that if you want to enjoy your life, then first learn how to love yourself. Like if we talk about, it is really inspired young people that how they should live their life. That's why maybe another reason the plays are really interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's some good, interesting messages in there about that. What is your favorite genre apart from romance? Do you have any other favorite genres, types of books you enjoy reading?
If we talk about, I liked horror story.
Okay, have you read Frankenstein?
Actually, if I talk about horror story, I have watched a lot of movie, and next time I'm going to, after this book, I'm going to buy a horror book. I don't know them, the name. Can you suggest me any horror book name that I
Yeah,
can read and enjoy?
you can read Dracula by Bram
Dracula.
Stoker. Is a good one. Bram
I want to
Stoker.
read some book that I will feel that bone chilling story.
Or Dracula Frankenstein, which is by Mary Shelley. These are the names of answers. I think Dracula is really interesting because
Have you read that?
I did actually. I had to read that in high school, Dracula, and Frankenstein is really good. You heard about Frankenstein, I assume?
Yeah, I have heard, but I don't know any of the books. I have also heard the name Dracula, but
Dracula,
I
everyone has, I think. It's very famous. I think read Dracula if you can. Dracula is not so long, but Frankenstein, it can be quite a long novel sometimes to read. Um, so try Dracula.
yeah,
It's
I'll
famous,
do.
isn't it? It's a famous story.
When next time we will talk, we are going to discuss about the book Dracula. Okay.
Okay, perfect. So how long does it take you to read a book usually? Are you a
Uh,
fast reader or slow reader?
1 week. 1 week.
But that's really good actually. So do you
The
like
book
to?
I show, the book I have shown you, the book, it took
Yeah,
me 2 days.
that's
Took me 2 days.
perfect.
Yeah,
So
like
when do you
when
read?
it's all about how much I like. If I am addicted to that book, it will take 2 to 3 days. If it is
Yeah.
not that much interesting, it will take 1 week.
Okay, so let's say you get Dracula. Are you going to your library to get it, or will you buy the book?
I'll buy it.
Okay, do you have a large library at home?
I don't have a library, but I am going to make soon, and I'll
Oh,
show
okay.
you.
Oh, perfect. I think we are running out of time today.
Okay,
Alok, it was lovely to meet you today. Thank you for sharing your lovely ideas.
see you soon.
Bye.